So the big news this summer at all the PCC campuses and centers is that we're going to go tobacco-free. Can you talk a little bit about how that came about?
Well, that's true. We are September 9th, 2009. We'll be totally tobacco-free here at Portland Community College throughout our district, our classrooms, our buildings and service areas. That's primarily started a couple of years ago when our board adopted a sustainability policy. And we're doing a number of strategies relating to that in terms of changing our curriculum, providing training for green-collar jobs, a number of areas along that line. But this is involved with our concern about litter around the campus and also the health of our employees and students. And so as of this fall session, we will move to tobacco-free. We're very excited about it. We will be one of the few, I think, community colleges in the state offering that that strategy here, but we feel that it is a very important process as part of sustainability.
Now, the enrollment at PCC is up. It's way up. It's up more than 20% year over year. Is that connected to the worldwide recession?
Well, certainly it's part of it. We feel the regional recession is really the unemployment rate, as you probably know, is in double figures currently. And that's causing a lot of people to be underemployed or unemployed, and they're now coming to look for training so they can restructure their skills and get back in the marketplace for a job. So yes, it's part of the recession, but it's also part of several other factors. This area, the population tended to grow, and I think we're doing a better job of marketing at PCC, so I think more people know about what we're offering. At the same time, we're a very economic choice in terms of our rate of our tuition, our fees, as we compare with other options in the area for higher education.
The legislature met this winter and spring, and Oregon's 17 independent community colleges took about a 10% reduction in funding.
Sure.
Given that the enrollment is up so high, how do you balance those two things?
Well, it's very tough, but what we've had to do is just really look throughout the organization and cut back on some things that we've done over the years. At the same time, though, we are continuing to put a majority of our operating dollars into our classroom experience and services for students. We feel that even though with these cuts, that it's important to do everything we can to have access to higher education for our students and the courses and programs that they want. It would mean probably a little larger classes for some. It may mean a restricted section in terms of offerings and those types of things. But again, we're still accommodating everyone who would like to attend PCC.
So tuition is going to go up this fall from $70 per credit to $74. That's amongst the lowest tuition increases of any 2-year or 4-year school around the state. Is there a philosophy behind keeping tuition low?
Well, for us here at Portland Community College, it really is. It's key to access to our programs and services. And so we're doing everything we can to keep the costs down. We realize that many of our students now may be unemployed or underemployed. We also know that many students attend Portland Community College from low-income families. And we believe by being open access, open enrollment, that it's key to keep the cost at a minimum.
Thank you very much.
Chris, thanks so much for taking time to talk with us today.
Thank you, Jennifer. Welcome to the new academic year.
Thank you. First question, PCC is facing some changes in regional accreditation. For those of us who aren't teachers, why is this important and how will we all feel the impact of this?
Well, first of all, the huge 1 to 2 year planning event around our self-study is going to be replaced with yearly reports, with the culmination of the final visit and hopefully not a big visit in the 7th year instead of the 10th year. So what we need to do this year is work with our board of directors and the college community to revise our mission statement as prescribed by Northwest. It needs to include some core themes, maybe 4 to 6 that are measurable, and they will become the foundation for assessment and evaluation for our effectiveness and our achievement. And so we will begin that this year, and then we need to report on this newly revised mission statement in 2011.
So we all know that enrollment has gone through the roof and continues to go up. What kind of opportunities and also challenges does this present to PCC?
Well, the last 11 terms we've had increase in enrollment. We've had an increase in FTE, but not head count. So that means students are staying with us longer. They're being retained. Prior growth has been modest at almost 6% in 2007, 2008. We saw a big growth this last year at about 12.5%. And we're seeing growth continue in the latter part of the year and this summer. Summer 2009, we had an increase of 23% over summer 2008. But you have to remember that we also grew 17% in 2008. So we're having a huge impact of compounding growth. Probably in terms of challenges, our faculty are either have been or going to be experiencing challenges in the classroom with this kind of growth. We're certainly seeing the impact in student services and financial aid. Last year, our financial aid applications increased 27%, and that means we received over 32,000. In terms of opportunities, since our students are staying here longer, it would be great if they achieved either a degree, certificate, or some type of credential. And so, at least for the moment, we can't capture those students. We don't know who the students are who are close to completion. But in 2010, we'll be rolling out degree audit, and we will have that capability. So I think we need to be thinking about creating some type of Operation Home Stretch where we do an intervention advisory for these students, help them carefully select their courses so that they can leave PCC with a credential, because we all know the credential speaks of academic discipline and skills attainment, where a transcript full of credit says nothing. Another opportunity that's presenting itself to us are university students coming back to lower collegiate transfer courses that transfer to their universities, probably because those courses are more readily available and they're less expensive. We're also seeing high school students graduating, planning to go to the universities, but now choosing PCC. And again, it's probably because the courses and the cost of education is less expensive.
Can you speak for a second about President Obama's new initiative?
Well, that's probably the biggest opportunity of all for citizens of the United States. Mr. Obama has placed community colleges front and center as first responders in bad economic times, and that's because we're able to meet industry needs in a very quick way. I think PCC has demonstrated that over and over again, particularly in the development of the green options within all of our curriculum. So that's very exciting. While the details of the plan are not firmed up at this time, we're anticipating that there's going to be a huge focus in increasing student financial aid, potential for workforce development training, for our potential for our CTE programs, an expectation that we do increase graduation rates, and also improving our facilities. If we look at the timeline that Mr. Obama has given his administration and the Congress to develop and fund this plan, we better be ready to act very, very quickly, because I believe that will be the expectation. I think PCC is well positioned with all the good work that we do in educating and serving our students.
Very exciting. Anything else to add?
Well, I would like to thank all of the staff at PCC who have continually over the entire year provided outstanding service to our students. These are citizens who are choosing PCC to either re-career or to find a better life. And also I want to thank the support staff who have just made our facilities shine like diamonds. This is a wonderful way to welcome our faculty back to the new academic year, and I think it speaks for all of us that we're so very happy to be at PCC. So I do want to wish everybody a happy new academic year.
Thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
So, Randy, let me start with you. How are you viewing the 2008 bond program?
I think the best word, Dana, to use is opportunity. This program is going to allow us to design, create, and use facilities that are going to serve the educational needs of citizens of our district, literally hundreds of thousands of students, for generations to come. It just doesn't get any better than that in terms of having an opportunity to impact people's lives.
So, Linda, what are the next steps then in the bond program?
So the next steps are currently we're preparing the design and engineering services request for proposals, or RFPs as we like to call them. Those will be coming out consecutively starting in late July, starting with Rock Creek. And once we go through that process and get a design team chosen for each of the campuses, we'll take that to the board for approval.
Randy, before the 2008 bond measure, the one before that was in 2000, and it was a tremendous success. But we had to learn something from it. What are the takeaways? What are we going to do differently this time that we didn't do in 2000?
Well, there are always opportunities to improve, and as a part of our lessons learned from the last time, we've identified a number of them. For example, we need to think about transportation and its impact for students in completely different ways, and challenge ourselves to put those different thoughts into practice in this program. Secondly, we need to think about what we're going to do in much more sustainable fashion. Thirdly, we need to think about and create much more effective, long-lasting ways of engaging with our local communities at the citizen level, at the business level, and a variety of other levels that we probably don't even realize at this point.
Linda, I think I have a sense for what the district's role is right now, but what's going on at the campuses as far as the bond program?
We're excited to get the campuses involved in this because this is really all about them. So at this point, there will be members from each of the campuses participating in the design service RFP processes that we're going through. And once we get those design teams chosen for each of the campuses, then we will start the planning processes at each of the campuses, probably late fall, early winter time frame. And then there'll be campus teams forms for the different projects that we're doing, and that will take a lot of involvement by the campus folks themselves.
Finally, Randy, this is just going to be a ton of work. Talk a little bit, if you could, about that challenge.
Well, the challenge is really not so much around the work, because that is what it will be. The challenge is in both being able to have fun doing the work and also keeping our eyes on the goal, which is the opportunity we have to create all sorts of new access for students for generations to come. That'll be the fun in all this.
That's tremendous. Thank you both very much.
Kristen, I have been waiting a long time to hear about this overview brochure.
An emphasis on a long time?
A long time. Is it like an organizational chart we're going to hand out to people?
No, it's really designed to be so much more. You know, we really don't have anything that talks about the breadth of what PCC does, the impact that we have in the community. Truly, you know, Portland wouldn't be Portland without PCC, and I really wanted something that was going to demonstrate that. What do you think, Jennifer? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, so many people don't even know that PCC is larger than the 7 Oregon universities combined. And that means we just have an incredible mission here in our community. And this piece is really designed to sum up the character of that mission.
So many people don't know about it, but who exactly would be the audience?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things I realized is that we really didn't have that piece that talked about everything we do. I know a lot of times people come into my office and say, okay, well, I've got a meeting, you know, with so-and-so from business. Yes, and they say, you know, well, what do I have that I can take that talks about what we're doing in workforce? And what do I have that I can take that talks about, you know, what we're doing and sustainability? And so I have to say, well, you know, you could take Communities Magazine and we could print out the list of the professional technical programs, and then we could check the news release we just did. We really didn't have something.
Yeah, we've had those conversations many times. Yeah.
And so this was designed to have that piece for campus presidents, deans, whomever, folks who are meeting with people in the community and want to be able to present something that really shows a comprehensive view of what PCC is all about and what we bring to the community.
Good.
Eloise can give you a sense of what the piece is going to look like.
This first spread is about accessibility, which is so important to PCC. We need people to know that 44% of degree-seeking students are the first in their families to go to college, and that we're the most diverse college in the state of Oregon.
This spread here is about workforce and what we do to train the workforce of our community and our state. You know, with our current economy, everybody's wondering how we're going to get out of this mess. Well, Portland Community College is going to take center stage when it comes to reinvigorating our economy and bolstering our workforce, and that's what this is designed to do. It's designed to tell that story, talk about the partnerships that we have with local business and industry, and also to talk about those programs that we've developed for new and emerging fields.
That's a big need.
Yeah.
Very important. What about lifelong learning? Do we have anything in there on that? We do?
We do. We have a spread on community education.
Right.
What a lot of folks don't know is that our community ed program is one of the largest in the country. And of course, you know, a lot of folks in our community, that's how they know PCC, is because they've taken a community education class. So we really wanted to emphasize that as well as our credit programs.
Great.
We also have a spread on community.
And this one touches on service learning and the 10,000 hours students give every year to over 130 community organizations.
That's an incredible impact that we have as PCC in our community. And then you'll be pleased to know we did not forget sustainability.
Bless
Green,
you.
green, green every day at PCC.
Very green. Getting greener every day.
So this spread not only talks about what we're trying to do to be more energy efficient and to conserve our resources, use them wisely here at PCC, but also what we're trying to do to train folks for the green economy, for those emerging jobs in renewable energy, alternative fuels, that I know you've been really helping to lead the way, Linda, with your work on our climate action team.
This is great work. You know, I have definitely felt the need to have something like this, and it'll be so much easier than trying to accumulate a bunch of materials and schlep wherever you're going. And it's a beautiful presentation. Is there a way that we can have enough of these materials available so that anybody in the college who wanted to share them with somebody could?
Yeah. Well, funny you should mention that, because I actually
We have anticipated your every need.
Oh, you guys are good.
We are. We're
Very
practically
client-oriented.
telepathic. But this is actually the smaller version of the overview booklet. This is a brochure that really takes all of the points of the larger booklet and reduces it into something that's compact that anyone in the college can take and hand out to friends and neighbors. So that way all of us can really be a part of telling the PCC story in our community.
And it's a great story to tell.
It is.
Hi, I'm Jen Sontag, Alumni and Annual Fund Officer with the PCC Foundation. Last August, I made the decision to leave the East Coast in pursuit of a more suitable, sustainable environment. Portland had been in the back of my mind for way too long. I knew I'd find opportunity here. In November, PCC welcomed me with open arms. Over the past decade, I've been fortunate enough to work with several very different universities, but none of them are even able to hold a candle to PCC. I'm consistently inspired by my coworkers, by our growing cadre of alumni, and the students who are here seeking opportunity. PCC believed in me, and for that, I'm grateful. But I'm not the only one. Recently, I spoke with two of the Foundation's great success stories. With me are Kathleen Harriman and I, Jantrania, two members of our PCC family who are working hard to make opportunity happen for the college. In addition to supporting the engineering department, Kathleen has worked as a volunteer with the Foundation's faculty, staff, and retiree campaign for the past several years. Kathleen, thank you for the volunteer work that you've done, but also thank you for being a donor. You're doing amazing things. We really appreciate it. Why are you inspired to give, and how have you seen your dollars at work?
I see the students every day. I see how hard they're working, that they're on the edge, and they're just not aware of the resources that the college has. So helping them find a scholarship is just a very natural thing to do. When I saw a student looking at the job board, I said, have you thought about the NASA scholarship? You're a mechanical engineer. And she goes, oh, what's that? And then I get the email of her on the C-9 aircraft floating in a zero gravity experiment. It was great.
Kathleen, this is I.
Hello,
I is an exceptional student and a Foundation scholarship recipient. Our faculty and staff and hundreds of generous donors have supported her, as well as students like her, in her pursuit for education. So would you tell us about your experience?
Sure. So I'm an international student from Japan, and here I study accounting. And my career goal is to work both in the US and Japan. But as an international student, my financial situation is always the biggest concern. But because of this scholarship, I didn't have to worry about it too much. And instead, I was able to spend more time on studying accounting, as well as my other activities, such as tutoring at the Student Learning Center and volunteering at the international school. So this experience really helped me to practice my English and feel more comfortable with my communication skills. So I really appreciate that the PCC Foundation gave me this opportunity to study and become part of our community. Thank you.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Impressive stories. As you can see, your gifts have a direct impact on the lives of our students and our community. Last year, we received phenomenal support from the faculty, staff, and retirees in response to the Miller Foundation Scholarship Challenge. We've been invited to participate again this year to help even more students with financial need. Thanks to Kathleen and to all of our PCC family for all you do for the college and the foundation. To learn more about how your gift makes opportunity happen, visit pcc.edu/foundation. Or if you're on the Sylvania campus, stop by the CC building for some coffee and a chat. We'd love to hear your stories too.
Eddie, this is your first year as president of the Faculty Federation. What's your impressions? It's been a pretty busy year. What were your impressions of this first year?
You're right, Michael. It was a very busy year. There was a lot going on. PCC waged 3 public campaigns, a bond measure, the foundation, and the Miller Match. And then there was the negotiations this year in a pretty downturn economy. And coming in as my first year, really had to hit the ground running.
Deborah, your tenure's a little longer, but you're still a pretty new president. What were your impressions this past year?
pretty similar things happening on the classified side. And again, the growth curve was pretty high, but I think we came through the things pretty successfully, and particularly our contract negotiations. We had very good relations with the college, and I think that that helped us at the table and helped us all to come to a good agreement. We worked particularly well with the Faculty AP Federation also, and I'm encouraged that our members will continue to step up supporting the students in the Miller Match in future years, and also be supportive of the college with the bond, and I'm very pleased.
You were at the table the last evening, Eddie. What were your impressions of the bargaining?
Federation and management, they work together very professionally, good relationship. It's been established for some time now. We were able to really negotiate in a pretty tough economy, and I think that we all came out winners because the college had a lot at stake and the Federation had a lot at stake. So to not conclude with a win-win situation would have tremendously made a difference to services, particularly during this time that we are experiencing.
So here we are at the in-service. We're stepping forward. We're looking forward. What do you see in the future, Eddie?
I see that we certainly are competing for resources. One year that I've really learned as Faculty Federation President is that we count on Salem a lot for resources. Competing for those resources, particularly with a huge demand and growth in enrollment, having to testify down before committees, subcommittees, having a very progressive legislature. We will be potentially experiencing a special election coming up in January or February. I just want to alert all of our members to be careful about petitions that they sign.
And I'd also like to encourage our members, not only the classified members, but all the members to be involved in the election, because no one can tell the PCC story better than PCC. We know what we have here. Our students know what we have, or the community know. I think people trust us, and they'll trust the message from the college, and I hope folks will be involved.
So we have huge growth in enrollment. It has an impact on everybody here. What's your message to our members?
Our members have done remarkably well and been very professional during these times when there have been limited resources but been extraordinary growth. And they always arise to the occasions from the professionals that they are. Makes me proud to be representing such professional members here, both from the Faculty Federation, part-time, APs, and classified. And we're looking forward to things not stopping. It's going to be competitive throughout this year. The pace is going to quicken, but we're all ready to handle for that. And to be unified, working with the classified, really makes and keeps both federations strong. That is our strength. And when we sit at the table, that was our strength when we sat at the table. And that will also be our strength as we go into the future.
You know, I'm positive that the classified folks will continue to step up and deliver the services that they have delivered to the college. I want folks to remember what our motto is: we keep the college running, and I believe that our people believe that and take it to their hearts. And I feel that in this next year that it's going to be particularly that's going to come forward, and I want to ask folks to keep those missions in mind, but always in the front of your mind, remember our students. We're here for the students. We're here for our students.
So we're stepping into the future. Here we go.
We're looking forward to it. Both federations are ready, and it's going to be a great school year. It's going to be challenging, but we're ready to take on that challenge.
I'd like to ask everybody to rest up and eat your Wheaties. It's going to be a great year. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much for watching this video. I want to wish all of you a very successful 2009-2010 academic year here at Portland Community College.